You looking for a fight? Here I am.
Hello everyone, it is Leon here and
David Horton from otherwise of Games Radar.
Of Games Radar, yes. You've been playing a lot of DMC, so I wanted to see what you thought. Now, for what I'm looking at here, I'm seeing recognisable kind of DMC stuff.
Yeah.
It's that kind of big aerial sort of fighting, lots of combos, lots of swoopy weapons, but it has changed.
It definitely has. I mean, the core gameplay loop, that sheer joy of launch a fool into the juggling for a bit with a gun, smack him back down, laugh in his face. That core loop that makes DMC amazing is still absolutely the heart of it all.
Yeah.
But you're right with the aerial stuff. I mean, it's little changes, but they've really opened up the aerial game, so it's a lot lighter, it's a lot airier. Everything feels cleaner and more immediate. But the main thing is the 2 separate grappling hooks he's got now.
Yeah.
Which, previously in DMC 4 there was that thing, the devil
hand,
swingy arm claw magic thing, which just pulled enemies in.
Yeah.
Now you can zip towards them as well, but you can do it by choice. So it's all about kind of getting in the having the enemies orbit around Dante and sort of remodel the whole shape of the battle around him, basically.
So I mean, the combat's changed as well, because before it was like timing kind of based combos.
Yeah.
Now you've got it's Angel and
Devil, which
and they're sort of they're narrow, quick and wide area.
Yeah, they generally, as a general rule of thumb, the Angel weapons, which are the light blue ones, obviously, are of the weak but rangy and fast kind of school of face smashing.
Yeah.
The other one, the demon ones, are a lot more smashy. They're heavier, they're slower, but they're really powerful. And you just drop those in by using your standard attack buttons, which is just triangle and circle.
Okay.
But you just hold down a trigger respectively for each one.
And so I felt like when I played it, there was much more of a kind of a toolkit approach to, you knew a certain attack would work against a certain enemy or a certain situation. So you were, rather than learning combos, you were sort of building up your own patterns.
That's exactly it. I mean, you form a real relationship with the weapons this time around. I mean, because you get to know each one's subtleties through almost kind of learning a game built around each weapon and then integrating them later on.
Okay.
So you get to understand exactly what each one can do in terms of its own combos. But because they're so easy to kind of chop and change between, it's not like I said, it's not a case of learning the overall combo system.
Yeah.
It's learning maybe 4 or 5 smaller, neater combo systems, but then the real fun comes in smashing the 4 of them together.
And does it lead you in sort of gently? Because some of the stuff I've been watching, both from you playing it and other people, there's been some quite complicated, from what I understand of the controls, watching it happen, thinking that's a lot of muscle memory to kind of master.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's an absolute joy of a thing to put together as well, because the stuff you're watching here, I am in no way the kind of frame counting sort of, cybernetic robo-eyed lunatic that usually can do this stuff. It works like Street Fighter 4 essentially, in that all the content is there. It's just the interface is tweaked to make it easier to grasp how that stuff works and execute. Okay. There's no depth taken out, it just makes it easier for anyone to get into that depth, basically.
And what about the guns? Because in DMC for me, the guns were always just basically kind of time wasters for the enemy.
Yeah, the filler,
just
basically.
Keep them in the air or keep them busy while you're.
Well, yeah, I mean, I find myself neglecting the guns a hell of a lot, because between having the 2 grapples, your use of space your control of space is a lot more versatile and a lot quicker. So you don't need them to kind of keep the combo rolling as much.
Okay.
Plus the new combo system's built, like the score system is built a lot more about just not getting hit and maintaining a variety of attacks rather than keeping up a relentless chain of them. So you don't really need to fill those gaps as much as you used to.
Okay, and what are the enemy sort of types? Because the ones I've encountered so far have been your basic enemies, the sort of the shields you have to break, and then there's the cherubs that they break your combo, don't they? Essentially, that's all they do.
They are there just to ruin your combo, basically. There's those, and there's some harpies later on have a similar sort of effect, but they're more powerful. The most of that brings in. I think the harpies and the cherubs train you very early on to use the grapples. Because you can pull them down, pull the shields off, pull the wings off, or get yourself up to their level and take them down fast, and then concentrate on the real meat of the fight.
Okay.
But yeah, there's heavies later on. I mean, there's the Butcher, who's terrifying. He's this huge hulking guy with buzzsaws for hands, who is fully armoured apart from one point on the front.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's another heavy who comes charging at you, and you can do the standard roll between his legs, smack him in the back.
Yeah, okay.
He's got a grapple point on his back, so you can yank him down and stuff, and do a lot of ground attacks. But the Butcher, he's got one point on the front, so you've got to go in absolutely high risk with the slow heavy weapons. And
Okay.
that's all about getting your evades locked down. So
What about the bosses? Because we've seen the sort of the big maggoty boss you have to sort of pull
Oh,
off
the
of a
succubus.
hanging. Yeah, but
Yeah.
what are they like generally? Are they
they're good. They're few and far between, but each one is an event.
right?
Yeah.
So
I think
it's not like they don't pepper them in at the end of every
Oh
level.
no, there's like 4.
Oh,
There's like
cool.
4 main bosses plus I think the last one.
Right.
And yes, each one's designed as a proper set piece event. They generally force you to use your entire skill set because the thing about this DMC, the platforming's much better integrated.
Okay.
It was not just the token filler it used to be.
I was going to ask about.
So-
I've seen a lot of sort of traversal, and we've seen the whip being used to pull platforms and move around. There's a lot
Yeah.
of traversal moving around. Is that
Yeah.
how big a part does that play?
Oh, that's a massive part now. It's the fighting is still the core of it, but that stuff using the grapples creatively to get yourself around, to properly Spider-Man your way around the city,
Yeah.
to launch yourself, pull out a platform below you that wasn't there before to avoid dying.
Okay.
There's lots of stuff with that, and a lot of the secret unlockable rooms because there's tons of challenge rooms
Yeah.
that you find with the old find the key, find the door stuff. A lot of those are built around that, and there's some insanely complex stuff later on.
Okay.
But yeah, generally it's just really organically blended now. Whereas before it always felt a bit like here's the token platforming bit just to break up
yeah.
the fights. It's really well kind of pulled together now.
Okay. And so what is the? So it's a reboot now, isn't it? It's
is.
not a continuation. It's basically a restart for the series.
Yeah,
What
I think
is
they
the-
technically said it was a parallel universe just to make the fans a bit less sad about
Yeah.
old Dante not being here anymore.
So
But,
what's the setup? What's the deal with the story and the characters?
Dante, the new Dante, basically Dante
Yeah.
is he's not the kind of cocky pantomime demon hunter he used to be. He's basically a bit of a bum living in a trailer park on the arse end of nowhere, just trying to live a quiet life because he knows roughly what's going on with the world. He knows there's demons around. Most people don't.
Yeah.
And they know about him. They don't like him much. He's a thorn in their side. And he's just trying to keep the hell out of it, basically. Then one day, this girl, Kat, arrives on his doorstep, along with this huge megalithic demon, hot on her tail.
Yeah.
Explains that he's in trouble and she can help. And from that point on, hilarity ensues. The general gist, though, is that it's so unfortunately similar to Bayonetta in terms of the way the world mechanic works, in that there is the demon world Limbo, which hovers parallel over the real world.
Yeah.
Which is great because it gives you an excuse to kind of really ground the whole world game more in reality this time
Yeah.
round. It's something much closer to our reality rather than the sort of increasingly fantastical thing the old series used to use.
But crucially,
But it can drop the demon world straight on top at any
of you.
moment. Yeah.
Because obviously you're talking about the combat. One of the issues I always had with Bayonetta was that it just, once I learnt that whatever you did, the combat looked good.
Yeah.
It stopped being a challenge. Is
Yeah.
that not the case here? Is that, I mean,
Yeah, I mean you can get through just by smashing through on crappy C and D ratings if you want to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's entirely possible to complete the game like that. But I think that thing I found with the weapons being accessible and it being about learning a lot of simple combo systems and putting them together, so it's not as intimidating to finally work your way through this piecemeal
Yeah.
understanding of the overall game. It's easy to get good, it's more rewarding to get good, and that sense that you form a real relationship with every part of your weapon set kind of it's more encouraging, rewarding to get to that sort of stage. And the game's really at it. I mean, you get better scores by doing well, but you get much more just sheer enjoyment out of the game by pulling off the cool stuff yourself anyway, and by learning, experimenting, and really plumbing that emergent stuff. So
Okay.
the combat is its own reward. So you will get good by sheer virtue of enjoying the game.
And is Dante a likeable kind of character? The trailers I saw, I thought, I think I'm going to like him.
He is. He's got depth now. That's the main thing. Dante was always cool, but he wasn't a person. This Dante is cool. He's cocky, but there's a reason for his cockiness. It's all part of an integrated personality and a whole life history that you'll learn along the way.
Yeah.
So every one-liner matters because it's a reflection of who he is.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much. Leave a comment, everyone, and we'll speak to you soon.